One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
What's up, everybody? It's Friday, June 14th, Flag Day, and our favorite guy's birthday. Thank you all for being here. You're probably saying, Barry, the rally is in West Palm Beach. It's in your backyard in Boca. You're supposed to be there. Yeah, I was there earlier, but unfortunately, remember last time we were live here, I told you that I had a winner. We were giving away a free trip to come down here to Fort Lauderdale to enjoy the weather. Go to the Trump rally, have dinner, stay in a hotel. Well, that kind of got blown off. It turned into a quagmire down here, and our winner couldn't come, unfortunately. But let me just announce her and her husband right now. Congratulations to Lisa and Mark from Calabash, North Carolina. Lisa and Mark won the free trip to Fort Lauderdale to see the Trump rally, go to dinner with me, hotel stay, and it got rained out. The airline canceled her flight. She couldn't get down here. But the good news is, she won't make the Trump rally, unfortunately. She's not going to make it for that. But, however, she will be here in, I think it's about 2 weeks. She's rebooked her flight. She's coming down here June 25th, 26th, 27th. She's going to put her up in probably the Hard Rock Cafe. They said they wanted to go to the Hard Rock anyway. So we're going to do that, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a boatload of fun. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it down here. I mean, last minute. They were at the airport yesterday. They were scheduled to fly out, I believe, at 2 o'clock. Then there was a delay till 3 o'clock. Then there was another delay till like 5 o'clock. And we just kept pushing dinner reservations back further and further. And then finally, they canceled the flight altogether. And if you've seen the news made it look worse than it was. But I understand flying down into this quagmire. But today the sun came out. We were up at the Trump rally earlier, and I said to the wife, this is fun, but it's going to be more fun heading down, going back, getting on the air and talking people through it. It was packed. Mob scene. Absolute crazy packed. The line just went around the block. It was just incredible. And you know what I saw there? I saw happy people. I saw fun people. I saw black people. I saw white people. I saw Hispanic people. And I saw a lot of Asians. It was amazing what I saw at the rally today. But just to let you know, I'm gabbing. When he gets on stage in about 25 minutes, I'm going to jump to that and we're going to show it. We're going to show the whole thing. But again, I just wanted to say congratulations and let you guys know people really do win. Congratulations to Lisa and Mark from Calabash, North Carolina. If you've never been to Calabash, it's a great place. Great seafood. I know because my wife was from Murrells Inlet, so we've been to Calabash and had Calabash-style food, which is basically a buffet of epic proportions. It's unbelievable. So, let me just tell you something while we're waiting. YouTube has been playing funny games because they've been, not just me, other people as well, they've been kind of battling with YouTube, and it's not been fun. I mean, watch them to try and basically crank down the exposure on your channel, and people have a hard time commenting and everything else, but I'm going to muscle through it. And part of that way of muscling through it, I've got 2 announcements. I can't say who it is yet, but on Tuesday, I'm going to announce a huge sponsor that I think many of you are going to be interested in. Going to sponsor the show for probably at least the next 60 to 90 days. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if we can keep rolling it. And it's going to be amazing. Oh, excuse me, I'm going to have to cut my mic because I think I'm going to sneeze, but I'll wait. And then, also, to really fight back, on Tuesday, I am starting my new news show. In addition to the videos that you see, in addition to the rallies, I am going to do a daily news show every single day that I can, unless I've got something else I got to take care of. But I'm going to do a news show starting at 1 o'clock p.m. every day. But Barry, I don't know if I can be here at 1 o'clock. Don't worry. It will be there. You come back and watch it on demand. I'm not going to delete it. It's still going to be there. So every single day, it's going to be a news show. It's basically a Trump news show. And every single day I'm going to talk about, because so much stuff is happening right now. So much stuff is happening right now that I want to be sure to keep you guys up. So I'll probably cover it like a news show. There'll probably be 4 or 5 or 6 different news stories that we'll talk about, get your comments on, and move from there. So, 2 news stories. Let me give you a little preview of what to expect. 2 news stories hit today. Both of them unbelievable. You know that the Dems have been saying for what, weeks now? No one is above the law. No one is above the law. Guess who's above the law? Merrick Garland. The Department of Justice took care of one of their own. After the House of Representatives referred Merrick Garland for prosecution for the same stuff that Steve Bannon did, that the same stuff that Peter Navarro did, defying a subpoena, you got to go to jail, right? Nope, not if you're Merrick Garland and you control the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice today said they're declining to prosecute Merrick Garland. Yes, there are people who are above the law. Yes, if you have a D after your name, you are obviously above the law. Not you, not me, but obviously what we've seen over the last couple years, yes, there are people above the law. It's incredible. I mean, when you look at it and say, Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon, defied subpoenas, we're not going to show up, you got to go to the clink. Merrick Garland, I'm not going, I'm above the law. No problem. You're cool, Merrick. You're fine. It's fine and dandy. You're done. Everything's okay. And he skates on that charge. Unfriggin'. Well, actually, I shouldn't say it's unbelievable. It's believable. So why do you think, let me segue into something here. Why do you think YouTube decided they were going to begin going after channels, not just like mine, basically anybody's? Anybody who actually decides to talk against the family, to use a mob term. You know, we've seen those kind of things. So I'm going to show you something. You may have seen this. This is kind of scary. You may have seen Dementia Joe wandering around after this guy came in and parachuted in. And there you see the other leaders of the G7, and they're all looking around, and all of a sudden you see Joe, like, get that look on his face like the ice cream truck just drove by. And then he just decides, yeah, I'm just going to go walk over here. And you see the lady, I forget her name, from the European Union, and Macron are sitting like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, ice cream? Is ice time for ice cream? And the lady in pink here, who is the Prime Minister of Italy, decides, you know, she must have had class, kindergarten teacher maybe. She's seen this before. She's like, I see what's going on. Let me go ahead and run this guy. I'm going to back into him. Back up. Hey, Joey. Yeah, get your butt back over here and take a picture. Yeah, okay, here. It's kind of bright. Can I put my glasses on? Oh, okay. I'm going to put my glasses on. So what happened today after that is what I want to talk to you about. Here we're going to talk. This is on MSNBC Morning Joe. So if we haven't lived through the craziest thing in the last couple of years with all kinds of disinformation being put around out there, listen to what this woman says, which is basically a clarion call to everyone in the media. You got your marching orders. You got to help us out here. We understand Joe's a couple eggs short of a dozen, but we can't have people spreading these kind of videos that you can see with your own eyes. Listen to this.
Now, as we've talked about earlier this morning, many on the right and conservative media playing the disinformation game to paint an inaccurate picture of the president, including the front page of the New York Post today, which has a picture of President Biden seemingly wandering off.
Seemingly wandering off. You people don't really know what happened. He seemingly wandered off. No, we watched it. You just saw it yourself. He wandered off and was heading over that way. But, okay.
In Italy, when really, as we showed the full video earlier, he was turning to congratulate and salute some of the troops, some of these who had just used the parachutes to come down.
He completely made that up. Did you see a salute? Nope, I didn't see a salute. And what would he be saluting? Another country's military? Are you seriously saying that our commander-in-chief was about to salute another country's military? Those of you guys in the military, let me know how you feel about that, if that was true. But we saw the entirety of the video. I didn't cut it. I showed the full video. He wandered off. Maloney from Italy went and brought him back. Get over here. Why didn't he just turn around and come back himself? If what we saw was disinformation, people saw it with their own eyes across the world. In addition to the blubbering idiocy that he blurted out earlier, well, how are you going to tell us what we're seeing with our own eyes isn't true? Watch.
And visit the world leaders. So how do you, as the Biden campaign, how do you combat this sort of disinformation, which is everywhere and seemingly only growing and spreading?
So now he's just told her, looking at this thing, now he's just told her, this is disinformation. Why? Because we've labeled it as such. We're going to tell the world right now that it's disinformation. And this woman from the Biden campaign is now going to tell you what, or basically tell them what needs to happen.
Yeah, thanks, Lemire, for raising this. I mean, first of all, we have to point it out where it is, right? We have to make it clear that disinformation is alive and well. We have to use surrogates and voices across the country to combat this and make it clear that not only do we not play this game, but to your point, President Biden was out there literally representing America at the G7, saluting our troops, you know, doing what he does.
Now, she said saluting our troops. I'm pretty sure that none of those guys are in American military uniforms, unless she's talking about Normandy Day and what he blurbed through there. But we're talking about this, and she's saying that this is disinformation.
President of the United States. And look, we're going to see more of this. I mean, this is just the reality of campaigning in 2024. So we have to combat that disinformation. We have to hit it hard when it happens and make it clear that these are dirty tactics that MAGA Republicans are using because they...
Oh, you dirty fools. You dumb, dirty playing fools. How dare you look at a video with your own eyes and determine something's wrong? We have to hit back. So how do you plan on hitting back?
They can't run on the issues, Lemire. They have to run. They have to use these dirty tactics like this because they are not right with Americans on the issues.
Issues, economy, safety, border. You're the people who aren't running on the issues. But let's let her get to the important part, what needs to happen.
So we're going to see more of this. We're going to do what we can to combat it. But it does take the voices of surrogates across the country. It does take the media to call it out.
It takes the media. She's telling the media and the people at YouTube and Facebook, not Twitter. Elon Musk ain't listening to this crap. You guys need to stop this. You need to stop this, nip it in the bud, because we need to win. So at this point, we're calling on you in the media to basically call it out, because you guys all know well what we're seeing isn't really what we're seeing.
It does take social media platforms where a lot of Americans are getting their information to point it out as well. And we just have to call it out where it is and do everything we can to push back against this disinformation, because we're going to continue to see more of it. And it's important that we call it out when we see it.
Meanwhile,
so she just told the media, guys, you need to stop this. You need to jump on it. Newspapers, television, social platforms, you need to stop before people get too comfortable with this, because right now we're seeing some really bad stuff about Dementia Joe, and we need you guys to step in. Okay, so what exactly does she want to see happen? Well, she wants the media to basically pick up the flag and run with it, which of course they are quite happy to do.
It needs to be said. I mean, you have Joe Biden here with a schedule that would be brutal for anybody.
Oh my gosh.
Any president of any age going to Europe, a couple times on D-Day and spending 5 days in France, going over to the G7.
In the middle of the personal struggles.
In the middle of the personal struggles, the Hunter trial. And yesterday, I even critics were saying that he did a strong job, very good job representing the United States, even though...
No, they're not. In fact, there are a lot of people from the European press saying this guy has gotten really bad. He's lying. He's doing exactly what he's been told. This is what you need to do. And they are not going to stop.
Again, we have some cheap fakes that the RNC, once again, spreading vicious lies about Joe Biden, but that's just...
You don't have to spread any lies. You have eyes and ears. When you hear the guy go out there and go blah, 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 and you see him wandering around, what are you spreading? You're spreading the actual thing that happens. It's not fake, but now they've basically committed the media and the social platforms. Stop it, cut it. Do something. Do whatever you need to do. Crank down these people's YouTube channels. Stop the news. Do whatever you need to do. We can't let this message get out.
That's who they are.
We should point those out.
That's who they've become. We will point that in a second. But Jonathan Lemire, I was struck by that. Struck by the strong message as well that Joe Biden delivered yesterday. I mean, the
strong message.
United States and our great allies in Europe have really stood shoulder to shoulder here, other than Mike Johnson and Donald Trump holding up badly needed security aid.
What he's talking about, badly needed security aid for that country over there where they're trying to lock the United States in for 10 years to fund this guy who today Putin said, hey, listen, we'll cut a deal. Let's go ahead and stop this. Let's do it. But no, they're pushing this message that nobody in America cares about. People care about gas prices, food, rent, mortgage rates, and they're trying to make it seem as though he's doing everything possible to help Americans when we know it's BS.
The Ukraine, now that roadblock has gotten passed, and people who actually love freedom and love democracy and hate authoritarians
Every time they say it's threat to democracy, it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. While you're sitting there telling people they can't talk about something. Understand it. He just followed Dementia Joe's spokesperson who said we need to have the media stop people from talking. And then the next words out of his mouth are, we need to protect democracy. You can't make this shit up.
Invade other countries. It seems.
And by the way, I'm watching the monitor to see when Trump comes out. He still hasn't walked out, so don't worry about missing anything.
We have them outnumbered as far as people in Europe and America that actually support freedom at all times, unlike a lot of Republicans in the House. But a very strong message. The United States followed the EU in its support, and now they get together at the G7 and another $50 billion going Ukraine's way.
I don't want to go in their way. You want to go in their way? No, not at all. Now, I went back and I grabbed a little snippet of a video that these two did a year or so ago. You know, the bastions of truth that they are. The bastions of democracy, who are protecting democracy. The same two people. Listen to this. These are the people they have basically tagged and said, we want you to run interference for us. Okay, we'll do it. Let's see what they did a year or two ago.
And talk about Facebook having problems and Twitter having problems with a story that even the New York Post knew was a lie. They published a series of lies peddled to them by Rudy Giuliani, who admitted that nobody else would take it but Rupert Murdoch's New York Post.
These guys are such liars, and they do it so well. Their audience just must be lab rats. I can't even imagine. There's all these kind of videos where you can go back in the archives and pull up when this is him being so emphatic about the laptop being Russian disinformation.
Because they might look into it and tell the truth. Here we are in 2020. This is what it's come down to, America. Giuliani is feeding Russian misinformation to Donald Trump and feeding Russian disinformation to the New York Post. They know it's a lie.
Who's lying? Now that you've seen that, who's actually lying? So you get my point here. I'm going to get ready to actually flip to the video. I may have to cut the sound if they're playing music, but it's really interesting what I'm seeing here. Let me flick to it because they just brought out the birthday cake.
Happy birthday to the 47th president.
All right, so I'm going to stop the audio until such time as he begins talking. But I just wanted you to see that mega cake, a huge mega birthday cake. But we can keep talking about these idiots until he comes up on stage. That's what's going on in the media, and that's what's going on the digital platforms. Dementia Joe's team is scared shitless. I'm going to say the word. They realize right now they are on an amazing downward slope. It's like a ski jumper. They're just hitting that thing and going off the cliff. They can't stop what's happening. There's no way for them to stop what's happening, except to stop all of us from talking about it. That's what they want to do. That's exactly what their objective is, to just stop us all from being able to use our eyes and use our own ears in watching television and saying, I just saw something, dude. I literally just saw him mumble. I saw him wander off. But you're telling me I can't even talk about it. And then you're telling me I'm a deplorable, I'm despicable, anti-democracy, because you have to push the lie. You have to continue with the lie at all costs. They did it before. They booted the President of the United States off of Twitter, the prior owners. Think about that. And that started an entire avalanche of basically shutting people up. Don't even let them speak. Don't even let them understand what other people are thinking. And so now, my concern is that they may be starting it all over again. Do our best. I know that I've talked to a few guys who have channels, but it's that bad. So let me see what you guys have to say. Michelle H242 says, hi, I am Ultra Mega. Yes, great. Oh yeah, what they're doing to this guy is just incredible. They said they're trying to kick in doors and take his entire studio. Jane Shields says, that's what I wrote about. They'll never be able to get ahead of all the independent channels. Yeah, what they're end up doing is basically just making everybody turn off. They'll turn off the ability to do videos. They'll turn off the ability to comment and do things like this with you. And right now I'm going to shut up because the man is taking the stage. Oops, got to keep that off until the song is over. That's another rule. You can't play music. But as you can see, hopefully everybody can see, he's taking the stage, and it's a raucous applause. When I was there, I was talking to the guys who set up. There are about 5,000 actual seats in the venue. I doubt there's going to be much going on outside because of where it's located in downtown West Palm Beach. But it's sold out. There's 5,000 people in this venue, and they are the heart of Trump supporters. They are the cream, not going to say cream de la creme. They are ardent Trump supporters. It was amazing seeing some of these people not afraid, not ashamed, had their gear on, as you can see. It was incredible. And I'm sorry Lisa couldn't make it, but we'll be doing it again. By the time the next rally is, we're going to work on another trip. And I'm not going to fly somebody to Wisconsin unless somebody wants to go to Wisconsin. But we'll figure out something. We'll get you down here. We'll have dinner. But I loved it. I loved seeing all these people at the rally. I loved seeing them at the Palm Beach Convention Center. And he's home. This is his hometown. This is a home game tonight. I hope he comes out and says some things directly to the people of America and let them know, especially with this Merrick Garland thing, that we're not going to take this crap anymore. It's time for him. He's showing what happened with the unity yesterday, how he brought the party together. They're all behind him. Just be president. Be president. Don't take any swings at Hunter. Who cares? Hunter's small potatoes, as they say in the mob movie. He's small potatoes. Don't worry about him. You know what a good strategy in the debate will be, if there is a debate? Let Joe talk. Unless he's juiced up, so juiced up, he's ready to crack like Kramer. Who knows? He might be. Let me see. Okay, is the song still playing? It's just about to end, so I can put on the volume for you.
With me.
All right.
Happy birthday to you.
Can you guys all hear it? Let me know in the comments if you can hear it.
Birthday, dear you.
Can you guys hear it? Do I need to turn it up?
Birthday to you. Happy birthday, President Trump. Happy birthday to
absolutely.
you.
It's supposed to be a great feeling for him. Absolute great feeling. Look at that big cake. All right, Don. Let's do it.
Wow. This is a nice crowd. Got a lot of people outside, but I think we're going to have to keep it that way. Thank you.
Yeah, you can't let them in. Look at that place. Packed.
Well, I just want to wish a very big hello to Club 47, which used to be Club 45. Now it's 47. It did very well as 45. It's going to do even better as 47. There's nowhere else I'd rather be on my birthday. It's Flag Day, my birthday, than right here with thousands of proud American patriots from the great state of Florida.
Oh, they're not just from Florida. I saw people from Georgia.
By saying to everyone all across South Florida who were affected by the recent flooding, our prayers are with you. That was rain like few people have seen. Ooh. Floridians are tough, and we will pull through it and pull through it quickly. And I just want to wish you all the best. We love you. God be with you. They had some tough times last few days. Thank you. I also want to thank Larry Snowden, and I'll tell you what, you just saw him. He's a great speaker. He's not a singer, but he's a good speaker. Not a great singer. He's not Pavarotti. Do we agree? But he's a good man. Sue Snowden and Linda Stock for their outstanding work. Incredible people. Along with Senator Marco Rubio, thank you very much, Mr. Senator. Thank you. Thank you very much, Marco. Great job. And we have some members of Congress here. They're warriors. Corey Mills. Corey, thank you, Corey. These are great people. Mike Waltz. Thank you, Mike. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, he was my doctor in the White House. He said I was the most healthy person he's ever seen. Thank you very much, Dr. Ronnie. He was a great doctor, a great admiral. Now he's a great congressman. Nancy Mace. Nancy, thank you. She won a big race. She just won a big race by a lot. Brian Mast, a very good friend of mine. Phenomenal guy. More courage than all of us. And Gus Bilirakis. Gus, thank you very much. They've been so fantastic. That whole Florida delegation. State representatives also here. Webster, Barnaby, Webster, thank you for the big prayer. Webster gave a beautiful prayer.
Jessica,
and
email
Rick
me.
Roth. And we have Ambassador David Friedman here, everyone. He loves Israel. David, thank you, David. And former ICE acting director, and he's not acting in my book, he's just the director, he's the boss. There's nobody that knows more about the border than Tom Homan. Tom Homan. Where's Tom? What a great guy he is. He'll have the border. It'll take him about 2 minutes to fix it. It's the worst border in history. Florida CFO Jimmy Petronas. Thank you, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy. In Florida, GOP Chair Evan Power. Evan, good job you're doing, Evan. We appreciate it. Countless members of the Palm Beach Trump campaign, they're all here. We have a woman that nobody's ever heard of, but she works very hard, Kellyanne Conway. Nobody's heard of Kellyanne. Thank you, Kellyanne. Thank you, honey, for everything. And we have World War II veteran and former B-17 ball turret gunner. You know what that is? That was dangerous stuff. Charles Phillips, who I just met, he's incredible. He's 101. He looks better than me. And he looks a hell of a lot better than Biden, I can tell you that. And he's got more guts. And my sister, Elizabeth. Where is Elizabeth? Right there, my beautiful sister. She's a great sister, too. Great one. Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. And all of you, thank you very much. With the help of everyone here tonight, we're going to win this state in November. We're going to evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House. We're going to put America first, and we are going to, quite simply, make America great again. Less than 4 years ago, our border was secure. Inflation was nowhere to be seen. We had it down to a science. The world was at peace. And instead of weakness and failure, America was stronger and more respected than ever before. It was never so respected as it was for 4 years, just 4 years ago. Now, under crooked Joe Biden, the world is in flames. We have a country that's being laughed at all over the world. Our border is overrun. Inflation is raging. Europe is in chaos. The Middle East is exploding. Iran is totally emboldened. They were broke when I was president. China is on the march. And the worst, most incompetent, most corrupt president in history is dragging us toward World War III. Under crooked Joe Biden, illegal aliens are better off, terrorists are better off, China is better off, Russia is better off, the cartels are better off, but the American people were far better off when you had a president named Donald J. Trump. Has anyone heard of him? Has anyone heard of him? Under my leadership, we had no wars. Instead of a globalist warmonger in the White House, you had a peacemaker at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We had energy independence and soon would have been energy dominant. We were dominant all over the world within a matter of months. We were going to be energy dominant, but we went to #1 in the world under Trump. I gave you record tax cuts, record inflation was knocked out. We had inflation like you've never had it, and now we have more.
Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let me see what did they block it? Hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring it back. That's very weird. Huh. Wow. I told you they were getting strong. They wanted to do some crazy stuff. Let me see if I can get it back. Wow, 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 wow. Give me a second. Working on it. Working on it. Yeah, I got it back. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Don't go anywhere. Oh, got it back. Hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. 1 second. Got to do the work here. Where the heck is it? It's coming.
While I was president, but I kept going and going. We never had an attack when I was president. We never had an attack because we kept them out. We had the strongest border in the history of our country. Now we have the weakest border in the history of the world. Very simple. It's not good. What's happening in our country is not good. The fact is our country is going to hell, and we're going to stop it. We're going to stop it fast. But now, instead of keeping out terrorists, Joe Biden has allowed thousands and thousands of terrorists to pour in. For years, I've been warning that Crooked Joe is letting the world's sickest, most vile criminals infiltrate our southern border, and now everybody agrees that I was right. They're coming out of prisons and jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums. They're coming from countries all over the world, not just South America. They don't want you to hear this. But Venezuela, the violent crime is down 7. So this is really a metaphor. It's a song that was written long ago, not having to do with illegal immigration, but it plays very well for illegal immigration, and I've done it, and people like it a lot. And we'll do it. It takes just a minute, but it's very salient. It's something that is very salient and very accurate, unfortunately. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. "Poor thing," she cried, "I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night. As soon as she arrived, she found the pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. "Take me in, O tender woman, take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried. "But if I hadn't brought you in by now, you truly would have died." She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed and held him tight. But instead of saying, "Thank you, ma'am," the snake gave her a vicious bite. "Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. "I saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bitten me, but why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in." Right?
Come on,
That's
show
where
some
we
love
are. That's
and
what
click
we're
that
doing.
like
We're
button.
taking people in, and those people are not the right people. We're taking people in, and we're going to have a lot of problems for a long time. And it's a shame. It's a shame. It's so sad to watch. Our country is being destroyed by incompetent people, by grossly incompetent leadership. The dumbest, probably the dumbest leadership in the world. In fact, I think we should have, and I've called it, all presidents should have aptitude tests, IQ tests, or cognitive tests. Dr. Ronnie Jackson gave me one. He gave me one at the hospital. That's a great hospital, too. He said, "Well, sir, the problem is if you don't do well on it, it's going to get public." Because it's a public hospital, essentially, right, Ronnie? I said, "Well, is it hard?" He said, "Yeah, it's hard. The last 3 quarters are pretty hard, right? The first question's easy." I said, "Well, let's do it, Ronnie. Let's do it." Did I ace it? I aced it. He said I aced it. For an electric vehicle. Did you know that? Spent $8 billion to build 7 charging stations. Can you believe it? He spent more than $1 billion apiece. Now they build about 1 million more stations. This is the craziest, this whole electric mandate. If somebody wants an electric car, I think that's great. But if you want a car that can go long distances, that's less expensive, that's made in our country, because electric cars are made in China, they're very expensive, and they don't go far. And I'm all for them, but if somebody wants one, we want it. But we want to, if they want gasoline or if they want a hybrid, you have to be able to get them. We will end his crazy electric mandate on day one. It'll be ended on day one. I will not approve 1 penny for the Green New Scam. It's called the Green New Scam. Second, I will end Joe Biden's war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill, baby, drill. And I've set the goal that by the end of my term, America will have the #1 lowest cost of energy and electricity all over. You know, if you go to New England, it's the most expensive energy practically on the planet. And we're going to get energy prices reduced within the first year to less than half of what they are right now. And that's going to bring down inflation. Third is to fight Joe Biden's inflation. We will stop the Biden migrant invasion, which is causing us tremendous problem. An estimated 50% of inflation has been caused by the soaring cost of housing, which is skyrocketing due to illegal immigration and high interest rates. You got to see, the migrants that come in illegally, in many cases, they're criminals, I said, from jails and from mental institutions. They're getting treated better than our military, than our veterans. Our veterans are lying on the streets, and we're taking care of people, putting them in luxury hotel rooms. And our military is lying on the street. It's all going to end. Crooked Joe let in 16 million people so far with no place to put them. This is not sustainable by any country. Biden's illegal aliens are driving up rent, food costs, health care costs, taxes, and more. How about Gavin Newsom? Gavin Newsom is the failed governor of California.
What's up, Tommy?
And he was saying, come to California. We'll take care of your health care. We'll take care of your hospitalization. We'll take care of everything. And you know what happened? Everyone believed him, and they're all pouring into our country at levels never seen before. They're worse now. Then he comes up, you know, he's getting killed in the polls. You know, there's a guy named Trump that's killing this guy in the polls. So they came up with a phony border plan, the congressman know very well, totally phony plan, and he never used it. He never used it. It was no good anyway. It allowed millions of people to come in. It was the worst, stupidest plan I've ever seen. But he decided not to use it because more people came in after he did the plan than we've ever seen before. Thousands of people a day started pouring into our country. This was last week. This was last week. It's a disgrace what's happening to our country. They're laughing at us all over the world. President Xi of China, you take a look. Kim Jong-un of North Korea, take a look at what they're saying about us. They can't believe it's happening. In fact, if it weren't for the stupidity, the dumbest move, the worst, I think the most embarrassing day in the history of our country, Afghanistan. The way we got out, not the fact that we were getting out with dignity and strength and power. We were keeping Bagram, the Air Force Base, because it's only 1 hour away from where...
Let me know if this is loud enough.
...nuclear weapons. You know who occupies Bagram right now? China! They occupy one of the biggest air bases in the world with the biggest runways, most powerful, strongest runways, deepest concrete. That was when we knew how to build. We built with big dollars. And we built it, and we gave it up, just left. 1 hour away from where China, now China is occupying it. It's a disgrace. They laugh. They think we are so stupid. They think he is the dumbest human being. They can't even believe. President Xi says this is some kind of a trick. When Biden walks in, and he has no idea where the hell he is. Where are we? Where are we? He can't find his way off the stage. See the stage? We got stairs all over the place. He can never find his way. I don't want to imitate, because anytime I imitate, they say it was Trump. I called up our great First Lady. I say, I made this great speech. 58,000 people, I made this speech, and then I imitated him, trying to find his way off the platform. I go, you know the way he always goes like, and then he looks around, where the hell is he going? He's pointing to a stair. Then he look, but you know what? These Secret Service guys are stars. They always run up and grab him. They run up. They see he's in big trouble. But I imitated him not long ago, and I did the full imitation. Then I ended up walking into a wall. And I said, baby, how good was that? How great was I tonight? We had some crowd. That was a massive crowd. How good was I? You were really good. You know, usually she'll say, I didn't like your hair. She'll say, I say, how good was I? You didn't look great. Your hair was terrible. Oh. I said, who else can get crowds like I get? Nobody. 68,000 people in Alabama. 107,000 people in New Jersey 2 weeks ago. 107. 25,000 people in the South Bronx. And it was a love fest. It was a love fest. Now we get the biggest crowds in the history of politics. I hate to say it. And by the way, if it weren't true, there would be headlines. But I said, who else can get these numbers? You tell me, how good was it? And she'd say, you know, your suit was bad. Have you gained weight? I'm saying, here I am up there. But, you know, one day, she said, it was phenomenal. But what happened? You couldn't find your way off the stage. And I said, they said that, so I can't kid anymore because they know we kid, and we can't be sarcastic anymore because they take it, Byron, they take it as the truth. Isn't that terrible? My great warriors over here, they know we're kidding. We can't kid anymore because these people are so dishonest. I said, no, I was just imitating crooked Joe Biden. She said, oh, I see. Well, they didn't say that. They just showed you running into walls. And fourth, I will cancel every unnecessary and costly Biden regulation that is driving up prices. The Biden regulations have added $10,000 a year in regulatory costs per household. By contrast, under my administration, we saved $10,000 per household. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. More tax cuts than any president in history, including Ronald Reagan with his big tax cuts. More regulation cuts than any president in history. And we rebuilt our military and we added Space Force. What we did is incredible. Now, the rebuilt military, you know, unfortunately, this fool left Afghanistan with $85 billion of brand new planes and tanks and even goggles, night goggles, 77,000 vehicles. Think of it. Who needs 77? If you took the largest used car lot in Florida, I'll bet they don't have more than 500 cars, maybe 700, maybe 1,000. 77 trucks and vehicles, many of them armor-plated, were left in Afghanistan. And I tried to explain to people, we were getting out with dignity and strength, but the first thing you do is you take your military out last. They took the military out first. And once the military were gone, the Taliban had a field day. We lost 13 soldiers, and nobody mentions the 38 soldiers that were horrifically wounded with their arms blown off, their legs blown off, their face so badly damaged. They're warriors. They're warriors. But nobody mentions them. I mention them all the time. I mention them all the time. And we left many people there. Americans are there right now. And we should have never left that big, beautiful air base. We should have never left it. There has never been a more embarrassing moment, in my opinion, in the history of our country. And because of that, Putin attacked Ukraine. I mean, that's what happened. He looked at these incompetent people. He said, is this what I have to deal with? If I were there, he would have never, ever even thought about attacking Ukraine, and he didn't. And fifth, while Biden wants to drive up prices even further with the largest tax hike in history, you know, all my life I've been watching politics, and I've always sort of enjoyed politics, I guess. Otherwise, I wouldn't be up here right now. But I've been watching it, and I've always seen politicians want to do tax cuts. This is the only group. They want to increase your taxes by 4 times higher than you're paying right now. They don't want the Trump tax cuts to be permanent. They want to end the tax cuts. We gave you the largest tax cut in history. They want to terminate that at the end of another 6-7 months. And can you imagine that? And I want to make them permanent, and then I'm going to reduce taxes by still more. Do you know that after we gave the tax cuts, our country took in with half the tax. Our country took in because of incentives and because we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. Do you know we took in more tax revenue with far less tax? We taxed at far less, but we took in much more revenue. Think of that. So we cut taxes down from 49 for business, 49, much more than that when you add in state and local, down to 21%. And yet we took in more revenue at a much lower rate. Who would think that's even possible? But that's the way it works. I want to get it down still further, and especially for the middle-income people. We're going to get it down still further. That's why we had such great job production. Best job production in history.
Thank you very much.
And as part of those tax cuts, I've announced that I will eliminate taxes on tips for restaurant workers, hospitality workers, and anyone else that gets tips. No more taxes on tips. You know how I did that? It wasn't really a lot of study, a lot of work. I've been hearing about it for years, how unfair it is. And Biden just passed a set of regulations that make it impossible for waitresses and people that get tips, any people getting tips. He passed something that makes it impossible. But I've been hearing, and last week I was in Las Vegas at a beautiful building that I built and is great, the Trump Hotel. And I'm having, oh, you like it, I like it too. And I was having dinner with a group of people on the campaign, and the waitress came over. She was very nice, and I said, if you could have any wish, what would it be? She said, that we get rid of the taxes on tips, sir. They're so vicious. You know, they hired 88,000 IRS agents to go after people. And she said, it's so vicious what they do, and the new regulations passed by Biden are so vicious. And I said, wait a minute, I have an idea. We shouldn't have people pay tax on tips. Will I have your votes on that in the front row? Would that be good? We got 6 votes. We don't even need the votes. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. No tax on tips, okay? It's done. Done. And we need to spread the word so that every time you leave a tip for the next 5 months, you put on the receipt, vote for Trump because there's no tax on tips. You see that? That was done. See the screen? That was done by somebody. They voted. This is a person paying. And they said, vote for Trump. There'll be no tax on tips. That's a person that was not, that was a tipster as opposed to a tippee. But it's no wonder Joe Biden and his thugs are so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only ones that can stop them. And it was just announced that they withdrew the lawsuit against Rudy Giuliani. Did you see that? Accusing him of everything under the sun regarding the laptop from hell. They just withdrew the lawsuit on the basis that Rudy Giuliani turned out to be right. He was right. He suffered and he was right. They said the laptop from hell did not come from Russia. It was not Russian disinformation, like the 51 intel agent said.
Thank you.
It was a made-up story for election interference, and I assume that we're going to be talking about that subject at the debate. Is anybody going to be watching the debate? You know, they made an offer to me that I couldn't accept. They said, let's offer him Jake Tapper, CNN. We'll go Jake Tapper, CNN, fake Tapper, CNN. Let's have no audience. Let's have both parties sitting down. And let's have just a sealed room with just the two of them plus, I guess, a couple of hosts. So that was an offer that nobody would accept. I said, I'll do it, because they assumed I wouldn't. And then when I didn't do it, they could say, well, we offered it to Trump and he rejected, but I accepted it. And I'm sure, I think Jake will be fair. Does everyone think he's going to be fair? Ronnie, no? You don't think
sit?
He may. Let's see. Look, he's got his reputation at stake. Got his reputation. And CNN has their reputation. You know, they're doing very badly in the polls. They're going to get big numbers here. But it's being actually sent out to all the networks, to every network. So it should be a big evening. They say Super Bowl numbers. So everyone's going to watch. You'll have to be screaming at your television set all night, I suspect.
Don't forget to join me for that debate.
I don't know if it's going to be very exciting when you think that there's not going to be an audience. There's not going to be, not your family, not it is. How did this happen to you? By the way, you know that if I wasn't running or if I was in fourth place or something,
hey, Tommy,
none of this
tell her
would be
how.
happening. But we're onto them. Everybody in Congress is onto them. They're a bad group, and it's all election interference. I'm being indicted for you. Remember that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. In the end, they're not after me. They're after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I always will. I always will. It's a big crowd of people.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you. This is the biggest birthday party I've ever had by far. By far. Look at this party. And they got twice as many standing outside. They can't get in. You explain it. From the very first day that we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden, I believe we are going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country, and we need them. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. and I will do something that nobody else will be able to do. I will prevent World War III, and we are very close to being in World War III. If I was president, the Afghanistan disaster would never have happened. Ukraine would never have happened, would never have been invaded by Russia. I had an understanding with Putin. There's no way it would have happened. And the October 7th attack on Israel would never, ever, ever have happened. It wouldn't have happened. Iran was broke. Iran was broke under the Trump administration. Now we have Russian warships and nuclear submarines surrounding Cuba 60 miles off the coast of Florida. How does that make you feel? Do you feel good about that? Mm-hmm. And that's only because Biden's weakness is putting us in grave danger. Putin has no respect for him. No foreign leader has respect for him. The only thing they're good at is cheating and misinformation. That's all they're good at. As president, I will restore peace through strength. We had no wars. Remember, we had no wars during Trump. Remember, Hillary was saying, he's going to cause us wars. His personality. I said, no, my personality is going to keep us out of wars. In my next term, we will build a great iron dome over our country. We deserve a dome. We deserve it. All made, state-of-the-art. It's a missile defense shield. And it'll all be made in America. Jobs, jobs, jobs. Why don't we have it? You know, Ronald Reagan wanted to do that many years ago, but at that time we didn't have the technology, in all fairness. It didn't work. People said Star Wars, Star Wars. He was right, but he was too early because we didn't have the technology. Now we have unbelievable technology. It's all going to be made in the United States. We're going to have a big, beautiful iron dome over our country. To further secure America's future and create opportunity for young people, I will end Joe Biden's war on crypto, and we will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in America. We're going to keep it right here, and a lot of it's going to be done right here in Florida, right? And I will always protect Medicare and Social Security for our great seniors. Remember this. By allowing millions of people to pour into our country, he is putting Medicare and Social Security at very serious risk. We're going to take care of it. We're going to take care of that. It's a bad problem. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before. Right now, they're crime-ridden, horrible places. You can't walk down the street, all run by Democrats, by the way. We will take over our horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C. It's a crime-ridden place. We will clean it up. We will renovate it. We are going to rebuild our capital city so that it no longer is a nightmare of murder and crime. There will be no murder. There will be no crime. We will have powerful law enforcement for the criminals. But rather it will become the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world, which it should be. It's so sad. People go down to Washington, D.C. They want to go from Iowa. They want to go from all the different places in our country, and they end up getting murdered. They end up watching murder. They end up getting into fights. It's a hellhole. It's so badly run. We're going to take over the management and the running of Washington, D.C. We're going to clean it. We're going to make it safe. We're going to rebuild. We'll tell you, it's under siege. It's under siege, but we will uphold. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech, and I will secure our elections. Our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and a thing called voter ID. Voter ID. One-day voting, paper ballots, voter ID, and by the way, we added a new proof of citizenship. It would be nice if you could prove yours. The Democrats don't want that. You know, they fight like hell. We don't want voter ID. Why don't you want it? You know, the Democrat convention last time, you had to get in, you had to have a sign, like it was a billboard that they hung on, bigger than your chest if you had a rather small chest, but bigger than your chest. That had your name, it had everything about you, it had your picture all over the place from different angles. But for voting, they don't want anything. They want nothing because they're crooked. They want to cheat. But we're not going to let it happen, but we got to win this next election to get that change. And until then, all we have to do is win. Win, baby, win. But we want a landslide because the way you really stop the cheating, you just make it too big to rig. You win by margins too big to win. I mean, we're winning now in states that nobody ever thought was possible for a Republican to win. I did, because I know what they do. But we're winning in today, Minnesota, think of it. But we're winning in Virginia. We're leading Virginia. Glenn Youngkin, we just met, and he's going to lead the effort to take that state. We think we can win Virginia. We're winning states that, in theory, weren't even talked about. And by the way, we're winning big in Florida, bigger than anybody's ever won before. We set every record. You know, we set every single record in Florida. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States, added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as crooked Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. He's the worst president. You know, until they did all of these horrible things with indictments, you know, that doesn't happen in this country. That happens in third world countries, in banana republics. I always treated the presidency with respect. And Biden, I wouldn't hit him that hard. I'd hit him hard. He's an incompetent president, let's face it. Jimmy Carter is the only one happy with Biden because compared to Biden, Jimmy Carter's administration was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He's the only one happy. But until this happened with the lawfare, they call it, lawfare, warfare, weaponization, call it whatever, where they go after your political opponent, then I hit him hard. He's the most incompetent, the dumbest, he's just a horrible, horrible president. And I wouldn't talk that way. There's never been a president so bad. And it's true. I used to go the 5 worst. And then I said, you know, if you add up the 5, it's not even close. So I went to 7, 8, 9, 10. But literally, you could take the 10 worst presidents, add them up, and he's worse. He's worse. So if you want America and if you want to save America, I'm asking everybody to go and swamp the voteusa.com, swamp the voteusa.com, to make a plan to vote either by mail or early in person or on election day. Just vote. You know, for some reason, evangelicals aren't big on voting. We have to get, they're all for us. But for some, I think it's a form of, I don't know, they just don't vote. We got to get the evangelicals to vote. They love Trump. They love you. They're great. But it's just something they don't vote. You know who else doesn't vote? The NRA gave us a full endorsement, the best endorsement you ever saw. But gun owners don't vote. You know, it's very surprising. We got to get people, gun owners, to vote. You're not going to have your gun very long if you don't, because they want to take everything away. They want to take your guns away. They want to take your ammunition away. They want to destroy the Second Amendment. But we have to get the gun owners to vote. We have to get Christians, evangelicals to vote. We have to get out and vote. Just this one time. You give us this one time, we're going to straighten out our country. It's the most important election we'll ever have. And if you want to volunteer to help us turn out the votes in your neighborhood, sign up to get trained at TrumpForce47.com. TrumpForce47.com. We have to do a job here. We have to do a big, beautiful job. And just remember that date. Remember the date. And it comes earlier, you know, in Pennsylvania, it's September 22nd. In North Carolina, where we've taken the head of the Republican Party. We won that state so strong, so powerfully. He had 602 lawyers working for him so that they couldn't steal the vote. He was great. So Michael's here someplace, but he was the head of the North Carolina Republican Party, and what a job he did. And he's very focused on that. I actually tell our people, we don't need your vote. We got so many votes, we don't need them. We just don't want to see votes stolen. We don't want to say, you know, steal the vote. We're not letting it happen. We're not going to let it happen. It's not happening again. Our country can't take it, and we're not going to let it happen again. So you take a look in conclusion, and it's just a beautiful night. I hate to conclude. we should go on much longer. I hate to conclude. Congressman, I don't think we should conclude. Let's go on for a couple of hours more. We won't lose anybody. We won't lose anybody. But in conclusion, from Jacksonville to Miami, from Tampa to Tallahassee, from Pensacola right here to right here in beautiful Palm Beach, we inherit the legacy of generations of American patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears to defend our country and to defend our freedom. We stand on the shoulders of American heroes who crossed the oceans, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, raised up those great skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, and from right here in this beautiful state launched our brave American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the face of the moon. And it's happening again. What I've done for your Air Force and what I've done for Space Force, and so much of it comes right here, right from Florida. Together they made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world, but now we are a nation in serious decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, willpower, and strength. We are a nation that has lost its way, but we are not going to allow this horror to continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. With the right leadership, every disaster Joe Biden has created can be fixed, and we can fix it rapidly. Every problem can be solved, and every wrong can be rectified. By this time next year, America's borders will be shut, sealed, and secure. We will let people into our country, but we will let them in through a legal process.
You're welcome.
Inflation will almost immediately be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. Optimism and pride in our country will be surging. The American dream, which nobody talks about anymore, will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright. Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, will be a fading memory of the past, and our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the one shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th president of the United States. Because we are all Americans, and together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of America. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Florida. Thank you very much. God bless you all. God bless you. Thank you.
Okay, so on his birthday, Donald Trump just spoke for an hour and 27 minutes. Of course, many of you have heard what he has said before. There were a couple of different nuggets in there, but he's definitely going to look at doing something with the taxes. If I were him and I see 10,000 people show up on my birthday in my hometown, it's got to feel really good. It's got to feel like, wow, man, this really is something. It really makes me feel good. His home, Mar-a-Lago, is just a hop, skip, and a jump from where he is. So he'll, depending on what he's got planned for tonight, whether or not they're going to be a fundraising dinner, but it's been 15 minutes. He's home with the wife, with Barron, and everything's fine. He doesn't have to deal with getting on an airplane. So this must be a lot of fun for him. In fact, if I were him, he's got a bunch of rallies planned, but he should do this more often. Huge venue, if it weren't for the rain, he could have done something outside. It's hot as heck down here right now. But when it's not raining, do something at night. Miami would be another good one. Do it again in Miami. Maybe come down here to Boca. We'd love to see it. So, unbelievable. Sorry for that point where it dropped out. Don't know what happened there, but I got it back, thankfully. Excuse me. The feed worked fine. He's still on stage giving out hugs and talking to people, high fives. The guy's for the people, man. I mean, this part of his speeches alone shows you the difference between he and Dementia Joe. Dementia Joe quickly scuttles off the stage, quickly goes back into hiding. I don't know how they're going to do the debate. I mean, look at this guy. Today's his birthday. He should be spending it with his wife and his family. He's out there talking about America and making America great again and meeting with people. Must drive the security nuts. Must drive everybody, the Secret Service, absolutely crazy that this guy just walks up and starts, hugging people. Now understand, when you go into the venue, they basically strip search you. So there's really no harm in terms of any weapons or anything like that getting in. But in any event, there he goes. It still must be harrowing for someone with all these people around you that want to hurt you. Some of you guys saw me taking notes. I saw there was some comments in here. It's like, Barry, what are you writing down? It is so bad doing these shows. It's so bad that within an hour of me ending this stream, I will get flagged by the powers that be. Why? Because at certain points, they don't want you talking about certain things. They don't want you talking about men playing women's sports. They don't want you talking about the newcomers. Can't even use the word like he used. They don't even want you even discussing what's going on down at the southern border. Otherwise, they could basically shut you off. So I've got to go back in and then do some homework and see my timestamps and make sure I scrub that. Otherwise, the powers that be won't let people see it. That's what you have to go through at this point. It is arduous. It is a task that you have to do to basically even be allowed to promote Donald Trump. And I showed you earlier at the beginning of the stream everything they're now going to do. Their only option is to shut us all up. They don't have any positive message for Dementia Joe. There is nothing positive. Right now, as you've seen in their ads, I think you saw it in a video yesterday I put up, all they can do is basically say Trump is the devil. Orange man bad. That's their campaign strategy. Well, what about mortgage rates? No, we're not going to talk about that. What about gas prices? No, we're not going to talk about that. What about grocery prices? Nah, we can't talk about that. So what are you going to talk about? I can't even imagine what the debate will be like. At this point, I'm expecting Jake Tapper and Dana Bash to come out and start talking about climate change. Oh, we just saw some really bad storms in South Florida. There was water everywhere and people were stranded. You mean like a summer day in South Florida? I had relatives texting me and talking to me and going, oh, you guys okay? I'm like, yeah, it happens all the time. We are at sea level. That is not a malfunction of the weather. It rained hard. We got like 10, 15 inches. Some people got 20 inches. You're at sea level. It's going to flood. But you know what? Most of us know this and don't try to drive through it. We're like, okay, we need to wait until this thing settles and then we'll be okay. The idiots are the ones who go out there, drive through it, and get stranded. I think some try to do it on purpose. But I told my relatives, I'm like, yeah, we're getting ready to head to West Palm Beach for a rally. Oh my God, are the streets okay? The streets are fine. The news doesn't show you. All they show you is that one area of town that gets flooded. And it happens all the time. If you're worried about us here in South Florida, maybe, Jake Tapper, you can talk about the missiles going off 60 miles off the coast. Because nobody else talks about that. Maybe the nuclear submarine that's, hovering in the water there, floating, bobbing, ready to blow us to kingdom come. We want to talk about that. You want to keep everything focused on anything bad. One of my videos I did yesterday or today, I'm like, can you imagine Can you imagine being able to talk to somebody and the only thing that comes out your mouth is negativity? This guy just spoke for an hour plus. He does it all the time. I want to help you. I want to reduce your taxes. I want to help you get jobs. I want to help you open your businesses and prosper. I want you to have lower interest rates. I want you to have a better life. And on this side, all this guy talks about, Orange Man bad, 34 felony counts, convictions, indictments. What are you going to do for us? Come on, Joe. Tell us specifically what you're going to do for us. You can ask that of any Democrat. Hey, I understand you don't like Trump. Got it. So what are you going to do to help everyday Americans? No answer. They get tongue-tied. I don't care about any of the stuff that they talk about. They have a top 5 ideology that nobody in America cares about except for their nuts. I know what you care about is what Donald Trump just said. It makes complete sense. They think that MAGA is a bad word. Why is it bad to make America great again? Why would you, it's not racist. I'm black. Do you think I'd be backing some guy if I felt like it was going to hurt me or my family? No. It doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense. If you watch the news, if you tune on to an article, if you click into an article or tune into one of the shows, let me know. Write it down when they say something positive that they offer. What is it that they want that will help your life? Very simple question. What are you going to do? Well, we're going to pay off student loans so we can buy some votes. Really? Why am I paying for somebody else's college education? I've got grandkids. I've got a daughter. Hey, why am I paying for someone else's education? My fault that they took gender studies in college and can't get a job, can't make any money? How about you make the colleges pay for that? How about you make the colleges pay for kids who take stupid majors and can't get a job and end up having a master's degree and working as a barista in Starbucks? How about you make the schools do that? I found out today. You ready for this stat? Before you guys go. By the way, hit that.
Come on, show some love and click that like button.
I heard a stat today. I heard a stat today that blew me away. 0% efficiency in math. Almost 40% of the black students in the entire state of Maryland have a 0 proficiency in math. 0. Not 1, not 2. 0 proficiency. What the hell are you doing with all this money for education? Billions and billions and billions have been spent, and they can't add 2 plus 2. Matter of fact, some of them probably can't read 2 plus 2. But that's because you want that to be that way. You want those black kids to be wards of the state. You're not improving their lives. You want them to be on welfare. Every single talk that every single Democrat gets on stage and discusses is we need to take care of you. We are going to make sure you've got SNAP and free internet and free... Dude, get out of my way. Give me peace, prosperity, and opportunity. That's all I need. That's all I want from my government. And get your hand out my pockets. But since most of those people don't pay any taxes, they bitch about it. He floated it out there. Hey, listen, what if we did away with the IRS and did away with income tax altogether? And every single not every single, I won't be an absolutist. 99.5% of people are like, oh, yeah, that's it. Do away with taxes. And then you get the libs that come in and go, well, it'll affect the poor people. You mean the poor people who don't pay taxes? The poor people who don't pay taxes are going to be negatively affected because other people don't have to pay taxes either. Well, no, they'll have to pay more on goods. No, they won't. They're still getting SNAP checks and EBT and all the other stuff. They're getting it for free anyway. You're helping out people who work basically a quarter or more of the year just to pay taxes. And where do you think they're going to do with that money? They're going to spend it, which means the economy is going to blow out. It's very simple, but it's not simple for some of these people because they can't do math. They've never run a business. I don't understand how you have a government where people are involved with government who've never accomplished anything, never done anything. AOC was a bartender. Bartenders are noble professions for kids. I ran a bar. There were some really good bartenders. One of the guys that I used to work with in here, he's now a cop at a sheriff's location here in South Florida. He didn't make bartending his career, but if you did make bartending your career, there's nothing wrong with that. Good for you. Yeah, there are some people in some high establishments that pull down some serious jack working as bartenders. But they're not governing the country. That's where the difference is. It's amazing to me how people just don't see it, and I'm tired of it myself. That's why I'm so strong behind Trump, is that what he says just seems to make sense. Hey, Anthony, you're saying, when am I on again? Tomorrow. Tomorrow, let me look here. Tomorrow there is another rally. Let's see here. What do we got? Tomorrow is the 15th. Yep, tomorrow. Tomorrow there's a rally. Oh, no. Let me see. Yep. Tomorrow there's a speech. He's going to be at the People's Convention. Let me look and see where this is. The People's Convention in Detroit. Tomorrow at Detroit, Michigan. He's going to be on stage we're going to go live at 5:30 tomorrow. 5:30 tomorrow, we're going to be going live covering in Detroit. You got to love that. He is going into the belly of the beast. He doesn't care. I'm going into Detroit. I can't wait till he goes into Chicago. He was in New York. Make it hard for the Democrats to defend it. I can't wait to see his speech in Detroit tomorrow. Irene says, I am 70 and I pay taxes 54 years out of her life. I still work part-time to make ends meet paying her bills. So many people would be helped, but they don't want these people helped. They don't want people like Irene helped. They just want to keep taking. People from all locations know right from wrong. Absolutely. What time zone? I'm going live at 5:30 Eastern. 5:30 Eastern tomorrow. Hey, Carolyn, thank you very much. Let me see here. Navajo Nation, thank you very much. They're going to love him in Detroit. You know, it's funny. I think that he's talking at a TPUSA meeting for talking points for Charlie Kirk's organization. So it's probably going to be a much younger audience, which has got to be terrifying to the Democrats because he's going into Detroit talking to young people. So I expect him to be extremely animated tomorrow. Hey, Sam, thank you very much. I guess, let's see, they're reading it. I'm trying to read here. Cindy says she'll be here. Okay, thanks for the info. Nobody can survive on Social Security. Bingo. Can't do it. But then again, they don't want you to. They want people to be dependent on the government. That's the entire shtick. They can't prosper as a Democrat unless you're in politics, and then of course you make millions of dollars because you're full on grift. But as and it's, to me, it's funny. It's not funny. It's actually sad. You can actually just ask people who are Democrats. Everything's fine. So what are you going to do to help people? And just sit back and just, which is Trump should do at the debate. Whatever question, what's his name, Jake Tapper or Dana Bash say, because they're going to come in with climate change and removal of children and the other stuff where people can play sports that they're not supposed to. And he should just say, that's fine. What's Joe's plan to help people with peace, prosperity, and opportunity? I haven't heard one word in years about helping people prosper and enjoying and seizing upon opportunity. What's Joe going to do about that? Just don't even pay any attention. At this point, if they ask him a question about climate, just ignore it and start talking about something else. You know why? Because nobody cares. If they ask him something about the removal of children, just say, yeah, whatever. states are going to take care of it and move on. Stick to the issues that people care about. The Democrats can't talk about that. They can't talk about grocery prices. They can't talk about gas prices. They can't talk about rent and mortgage and interest rates. They can't talk about it. They've destroyed the economy. They can't talk about inflation. So I don't know what kind what kind of debate it's going to be. But I pretty much think that they're going to try and make the questions and make them about things that nobody cares about. And Trump has to be disciplined enough to basically push it, if there even is a debate. I mean, after what he did in Europe, and Trump is right, he didn't say it, he kind of alluded to it, which you guys all could hear. What was he doing going back and forth? Why did he have to go back and forth to Delaware? What did they have to do to him to get him back on the stage in Europe? And if that's the best they could do, how is he going to do a debate? Everyone's talking about drug testing, but he's not going to take a drug test. So we're going to see all for ourselves what the heck is going on. Hey, guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button on your way out.
Come on, show some love and click that like button.
I greatly appreciate it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to be on at 5:30 Eastern Time. 5:30 Eastern Time with the rally from Detroit. And just imagine this. This guy, his birthday's tonight. He's going to spend some time with donors and fans. He's going to go home to Mar-a-Lago, hang out with the wife and family, and then have to get in his plane, his jet, and fly over to Michigan and do another rally. Joe can't do that. This is why his numbers are going to continue to go up. All they have is lawfare. All they have is negativity. They can't stand toe-to-toe with him. So, hey, guys, tomorrow, want to see you guys jump on with me. We're going to have some giveaways tomorrow. Tonight, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to even do tonight, but because of the weather, Lisa and Mark couldn't get down here from Calabash, so I was like, well, I might as well just go ahead and go live. But tomorrow, it's on. It's on. We're going to do some giveaways tomorrow. Talk to you guys. Have a great Friday night.